In our lifetime, we absorb facts, information, and skills. We get our theoretical and practical understanding through education and experience. It's called knowledge. Welcome to television's longest-running high school quiz show, Knowledge Bowl. Let's join two of our 16 competing Northeast Michigan high schools and our host, Astrid Fitzpatrick, for today's match.
Hello and welcome to Knowledge Bowl, Michigan's longest-running quiz show. I'm your host, Astrid Fitzpatrick. Today our game is between Tawas and Hillman. And we'll start by introducing our teams, beginning with Tawas, starting with their captain.
Hi, I am Greg Jaycott, and I am a junior.
Kyle Veit, senior.
Nathan Kane, senior.
Nicholas Hemker, senior.
Oh, okay. Steven Young, senior. Bryce Moon, freshman.
And they're joined by their coach, Suzanne Berzakowski. And our team from Hillman, starting with their captain.
Caleb Schiffer, senior.
Zachary Cameron, senior.
Camille Laporte, senior.
Stuart Brown, sophomore.
James McQueen, sophomore.
James Ferguson, senior.
Cassie Halford, sophomore.
And they're joined by their coach, Rebecca Schwartz. I'd also like to thank our judges today, Matthew Fitzpatrick and Joey Greskowiak, for being here today. Our first round is the toss-up round, but before we start that, here are the rules.
Round 1 is a toss-up format. A question will be asked, and the first competitor to ring in has the opportunity to answer the question. If a correct answer is given, the team is awarded 10 points. No consulting is allowed. If the answer is incorrect, then the question goes to the opposing team to answer.
All right, well, let's start with our first question. More corn is grown by American farmers than any other crop. Regardless of the region of the country in which you are traveling, you've probably seen acres and acres of it in the summertime. But can you name the next two most abundantly produced American crops? Nathan?
Soybeans and wheat.
That's correct. The study or graphing of the order of succession of different sedimentary formations is called what? Greg?
Geology.
I'm sorry, that's incorrect. Hillman? The correct answer was stratigraphy. Solve the following integral, the sum of 4 dx. And the correct answer was 4x plus c. This South Carolina family included Charles, who served as governor, Thomas, who was minister to Spain, Charles Coatsworth, who ran 3 times for president, all unsuccessfully. Name this distinguished family. And the correct answer was Pinckney. In what country is St. Moritz located? Kyle?
Spain.
I'm sorry, that's incorrect. Hillman? Caleb?
Rome.
I'm sorry, that's incorrect. Correct answer was Switzerland. Who was the first Grand Slam winner in the history of tennis? And the correct answer was Don Budge. Great Britain, Germany, Russia, Japan, France, and Portugal, all of these nations occupied territories of what empire during the first decade of the 20th century? Nathan?
China.
That's correct. The Dakota Reservoir System is found on what major river? Caleb?
Mississippi.
I'm sorry, that's incorrect. Tawas? Kyle?
Missouri.
That's correct, Missouri. GM ended production of 2 muscle cars in 2002. Name either one of them. Kyle?
The Corvette.
I'm sorry, that's incorrect. Hillman? And the correct answers were either the Firebird or the Camaro. In astronomy, there is a special name for a circle that passes through the zenith and the nadir, making it perpendicular to the horizon. What is such a circle called? And the correct answer was the vertical circle. The tiny Pacific islands of Kiribati, Nauru, and Tuvalu do not have their own currency, but use the money of what larger country to the southwest? Kyle?
Indonesia.
I'm sorry, that's incorrect. Hillman? Caleb?
Australia.
That's correct. In a doubles tennis court, how many non-overlapping quadrilaterals are marked with contrasting color, usually white? Remember, there is no line underneath the net. Caleb?
5.
I'm sorry, that's incorrect. Kyle?
6.
That's correct. Name the 2 Midwestern states that have capitals named after presidents on Mount Rushmore. Kyle?
Mississippi. And no.
Okay, I'm sorry, that's incorrect. Hillman? The correct answers were Nebraska and Missouri for Lincoln and Jefferson City. Hubris and hamartia are terms usually associated with which literary genre? Morality plays, picaresque novels, Roman comedy, rhymed poetry, or Greek tragedy? Kyle?
Picaresque novel.
I'm sorry, that's incorrect. Hillman? Caleb?
Greek tragedy.
That's correct. In a record-setting performance, this man used a 6-iron and drove a golf ball some 400 yards. Who was it, and where did he achieve this feat? And the correct answer was Alan Shepard, and that was done on the moon. What do psychologists call false beliefs that people still hold on even when the facts contradict them? Nathan?
Bias?
I'm sorry, that's incorrect. Hillman? Correct answer was delusions. Dactylology is primarily used by forensic surgeons, the hearing impaired, air traffic controllers, court reporters, or hot air balloonists. Kyle?
Forensic.
No, I'm sorry, that's incorrect. Hillman?
What was the rest of the question?
That was the rest. Want to repeat it? Yes, please. Okay. Dactylology is primarily used by forensic surgeons, hearing impaired, air traffic controllers, court reporters, or hot air balloonists. Caleb?
Air traffic controllers.
I'm sorry, that's incorrect. Correct answer was the hearing impaired. Dactylology is sign language. What is the most widely used flavoring agent in the third world? Kyle?
Salt.
I'm sorry, that's incorrect. Hillman? I think the correct answer was chili pepper. And that's all we have for our first round. We'll be right back with some updated scores. Welcome back. So far we have Tawas with a score of 40 and Hillman with a score of 20. Our next round is the bonus round, but before we start that, here are the rules.
This is the bonus round. It consists of toss-up questions, as in round 1. However, this is the twist. The team answering correctly then gets 4 bonus questions. For each question answered correctly, a series of points will be awarded. Team members can consult, but only the team captain can answer the question. After an incorrect answer, the toss-up portion begins again for both teams.
All right, let's get started. Who first decreed in AD 515 that monks should labor with hand and brain as well as perform spiritual exercises? The correct answer was Benedict, who's the founder of Western monasticism. What is the decimal value of the binary number 101? Stuart? I'm sorry, that's incorrect. Tawas? Kyle?
5.
That's correct. Okay, this is meteorology. In meteorology, this term signifies the line where the Earth's surface and the sky apparently join. What is it?
Horizon.
Horizon.
That's correct. An air mass designed by the symbol A originates over the Arctic. What is the origin of an air mass designated by the symbol AA?
The Antarctic.
Antarctic.
That's correct. What comes in types that include radiation, advection, upslope, evaporation, frontal, and the Arctic sea smoke?
Fires.
Fires.
I'm sorry, that's incorrect. Correct answer was fog. In 1754, a colonial Congress meeting in what state capital adopted Benjamin Franklin's Plan of Union?
New
Kyle?
York.
We're looking for the state capital.
Albany.
That's correct. Okay, these are with mass. If the ratio of sand to cement is a mixture of 2 parts sand to 1 part cement, what would be the amount of cement in a mixture of 900 pounds?
1,800.
1,800.
I'm sorry, that's incorrect. Correct answer was 300 pounds. Okay. What is the degree of the polynomial 4ab squared minus 8a squared b cubed c minus 2c squared? Kyle?
3.
I'm sorry, that's incorrect. Hillman? The correct answer was 6. What is the term for the connective tissue that holds cranial bones together in infancy? Kyle?
Suture.
That's correct. These are about chemistry. Several elements are named after scientists. What element, number 90, is named for a Norse god?
Thorium.
That's correct. What material comprises the filter of most gas masks?
Radon.
I'm sorry, that's incorrect. Correct answer was charcoal. It became the world's largest suspension bridge when it was finished in 1931. It was built for 8 lanes of traffic, but a lower deck with an additional 6 lanes was finished in 1962, making it the first 14-lane vehicular suspension bridge. Caleb?
The Golden Gate.
I'm sorry, that's incorrect. It spans the Hudson River, connecting the states of New York and New Jersey. Can you name it? Kyle?
The George Washington.
That's correct. Okay, give the nationality of these 20th century rulers who all abdicated their thrones. Edward VIII.
England.
English.
That's correct. Emperor Wilhelm II.
German.
German.
That's correct. Victor Emmanuel III.
France.
Austrian.
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 I'm sorry, that's incorrect. Correct answer was Italy. In 1960, the Supreme Court awarded the state of Texas mineral rights to the offshore oil in its Gulf of Mexico tidelands. The rights were limited to within 3 leagues of shore, which is about how many miles? Kyle?
10.
That's correct. Okay, physiology. A surprising job for your nose is to A, add balance, B, smile, C, trigger turning over at night, or D, warn of earthquakes.
Warn of earthquakes.
Warn of earthquakes.
I'm sorry, that's incorrect. The correct answer was C, trigger for turning over at night. The modern era of musical comedy began in 1943 with the premiere of what Rodgers and Hammerstein's play? The correct answer was Oklahoma. The Soviet Union lost the most dead during World War II, 20 million in battle. Which country lost the greatest percentage of its population during World War II, 6 million? Kyle?
Canada.
I'm sorry, that's incorrect. Hillman?
Germany.
Stewart? I'm sorry, that's incorrect. Correct answer was Poland. While serving as a soldier, this president received the Congressional Medal, which was then the country's highest military honor. Can you name him? Kyle?
Dwight D. Eisenhower.
I'm sorry, that's incorrect. Hillman? Caleb?
Theodore Roosevelt.
I'm sorry, that's also incorrect. Correct answer was George Washington. All of these men were among Robin Hood's merry men except Allan a Dale, Friar Tuck, Little John, Will Scarlet, and Sir Guy of Gisborne. Kyle?
Will Scarlet.
I'm sorry, that's incorrect. Stewart?
Will Scott.
I'm sorry, that's incorrect. Correct answer was Sir Guy of Gisborne. What did London's Bakers Guild apologize for starting 320 years after the event? Kyle?
The London Fire.
That's correct. And let's see. Identify these words beginning with the letters G-A-U. To measure.
Gauge.
Gauge.
That's correct. A loosely woven cotton surgical dressing.
Gauze.
That's correct. Excessively thin, usually from suffering.
Gaunt.
That's correct. And a heavy, thick clay soil.
Gout.
Gout.
I'm sorry, that's incorrect. Correct answer was galt. Okay, this steak has a larger section of tenderloin and a longer tail than the T-bone. Can you name it? Kyle?
Ribeye.
I'm sorry, that's incorrect. Hillman? The correct answer was porterhouse. What was the Lusitania carrying 173 tons of when it sank? Nathan?
Munitions.
That's correct. These are about clothes. What early variation of Narragansett Indian footwear affected everything from hunting to warfare?
Moccasins.
Moccasins.
That's correct. Named after a Scottish clan, these sweaters and socks have a diamond-shaped pattern that often comes in two colors.
Plaid.
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 I'm sorry, that's incorrect. Correct answer was argyle. That's all we have for our second round. We'll be right back with some updated scores. Okay, welcome back. So far we have Tawas with a score of 180 and Hillman with a score of 20. We're also joined by alternate Stephen Young on Tawas' side and alternates James Ferguson and James McQueen on Hillman's side. Our next round is the 60-second round, but before we start that, here are the rules.
This is our 60-second round. The team with the lowest score selects from one of the 4 categories of 10 questions. The team that has 60 seconds to answer as many questions as possible. Each correct answer is worth 10 points. Any missed questions will then be answered by the opposing team. An additional 20-point bonus is awarded for answering all 10 questions correctly.
All right, we're starting with Hillman, who's chosen the category words. What French word means boy?
Just pass.
What is the word for the process of selecting and hiring actors for a dramatic presentation?
Audition.
Audition.
I'm sorry, that's incorrect. Statements in logic which illustrate conjunction always include what word?
Pass.
What 5-letter word refers to the taking of money through political dishonesty?
Steal.
I'm sorry, that's incorrect. What word rhyming with fears refers to an amount of money due but unpaid? From a Latin word for a calling, this type of school trains its students for employment.
Trade school.
I'm sorry, that's incorrect. The customer of an attorney is known as what?
Defendant.
I'm sorry, that's incorrect. What is the... Okay, Tawas. What French word means boy?
Pass.
Pass.
What is the word for the process of selecting and hiring actors for a dramatic presentation?
Casting.
That's correct. Statements in logic which illustrate conjunction always include what word?
And.
That's correct. What 5-letter word refers to the taking of money through political dishonesty?
Draft.
That's correct. What word rhyming with fears refers to an amount of money due but unpaid?
Pass.
And from a Latin word for a calling, this type of school trains its students for employment.
Technical.
Technical.
I'm sorry, that's incorrect. And the customer of an attorney is known as what?
Plaintiff.
Go for it.
Plaintiff.
I'm sorry, that's incorrect. And Tawas has chosen the category Acts of Congress. In 1798, this series of laws would have ended opposition to the Federalist Party.
Sedition Act.
Sedition Act.
That's correct. In 1807, it forbade Americans to trade with foreign nations.
Pass.
Pass.
In 1850, following the success of Uncle Tom's Cabin, this act directed against runaway slaves was targeted for repeal.
The Fugitive Slave Act.
Fugitive Slave Act.
That's correct. In 1854, it created 2 new territories and abolished the Missouri Compromise line.
Pass.
In 1862, it provided 160 acres of land to people who would live on it for 5 years.
Homestead.
Homestead.
That's correct. In 1890, it was an attempt to halt the growth of monopolistic businesses.
Oh, that's Theodore Roosevelt.
Pass it.
Pass.
In 1935, it established an old age pension system.
Social Security.
That's correct. In 1941, it allowed the U.S. to supply war materials to the Allies.
Lend-Lease Act.
Lend-Lease Act.
That's correct. And Hillman. In 1807, it forbade Americans to trade with foreign nations.
Pass.
In 1854, it created 2 new territories and abolished the Missouri Compromise line.
Mississippi Compromise.
I'm sorry, that's incorrect. And in 1890, it was an attempt to halt the growth of monopolistic businesses. Right, and that's all we have for our third round. We'll be right back with some updated scores. Okay, welcome back. So far we have Tawas with a score of 260, and Hillman with a score of 20. Our last round is the toss-up round, just like the first round, so we'll just get started with that. The lengths of two legs of a triangle are 2 and 4 inches. If the length of the third side is represented by x, state the value of x in an inequality relationship. Kyle?
2 is less than x is less than 4.
I'm sorry, that's incorrect. Hillman?
2 plus 4 is less
Than x.
I'm sorry, that's incorrect. The answer we were looking for was 2 is less than x, which is less than 6. All horses of this breed can trace their lineage to one of 43 mares imported into England during the reigns of James I and Charles I, or to one of only 3 other horses. Name the breed. Greg?
Purebred.
I'm sorry, that's incorrect. Hillman? The correct answer was thoroughbred. Which term, Spanish for saw, designated an elongated mountain range having a saw-toothed appearance from a distance? The correct answer was Sierra. Walter Lord wrote a minute-by-minute account of the disaster of the White Star liner Titanic that sank in 1912. Name the book. Kyle?
Titanic?
I'm sorry, that's incorrect. Hillman? And the correct answer was A Night to Remember. What term for keeping anonymous may be derived from the fact that in tank warfare, a vehicle with one of these presents a smaller target for artillery? The correct answer was a low profile. Who designed the plan of the city of Philadelphia? Stephen?
Benjamin Franklin.
I'm sorry, that's incorrect. Hillman? The correct answer was William Penn. Heinrich Schliemann evacuated the ruins of Troy for almost 20 years. How many cities of Troy did he find buried in the ruins?
6.
I'm sorry, that's incorrect. Kyle?
3.
I'm sorry, that's also incorrect. Correct answer was 9. In auto racing, a single seat, open cockpit, tubular body, and engine located behind the driver describes what kind of vehicle? Kyle?
A drag racer?
I'm sorry, that's incorrect. Hillman? Caleb?
Formula.
That's correct. English grammar recognizes 3 cases. Name any 2 of them. Kyle?
Past and present?
I'm sorry, that's incorrect. Hillman? We would have accepted nominative, possessive, and accusative. Normal body temperature is 37 on the Celsius scale. What is the normal body temperature on the Kelvin scale to the nearest whole number? Nathan?
78.
I'm sorry, that's incorrect. Hillman? Caleb?
99.
I'm sorry, that's also incorrect. Correct answer was 310 Kelvin.
Oh, Kelvin.
If not detected early, glaucoma can cause blindness. How? Nathan?
Thick film over the eyes, covering the irises.
Judges? Sorry, that's incorrect. Hillman? And the correct answer is that fluid pressure builds up and destroys the optic nerve. European archaeologists classify their work as belonging to the study of history. In the Americas, however, archaeology is considered a branch of what specific science? Caleb?
Geology.
I'm sorry, that's incorrect. Tawas? Nathan?
Anthropology.
That's correct. What is dim sum? James? Can you be more specific?
A Chinese food.
I'm sorry, that's incorrect. Tawas?
A type of soup.
I'm sorry, that's also incorrect. It's a variety of Chinese foods served in appetizer proportions, such as dumplings and egg rolls. In addition to surface currents, which are caused by wind, the oceans contain deep currents, which these are caused by differences in what? Caleb?
Ocean temperature.
I'm sorry, that's incorrect. Tawas? Greg?
Pressure.
I'm sorry, that's also incorrect. They're caused by density of the water. What American won the 1964 Nobel Peace Prize? Kyle?
Martin Luther King Jr.
That's correct. Before the Norman Conquest, England had two kings who were father and son, Ethelred II and Edmund II. Each had a distinctive nickname. Identify either one. Nathan?
What is the Lionheart?
I'm sorry, that's incorrect. Hillman? And the correct answer is Ethelred was the Unready and Edmund was Ironside. And that's all we have for our final round. We'll be right back with the final scores. Welcome back. Our final scores are Tawas with 280 and Hillman with 30. So congratulations to our winners today from Tawas. Join us next week when we'll have Tawas versus Fairview. And I'll leave you with a quote from Carl Jung: "Knowledge lies not in truth alone, but in error also. So don't be afraid to make mistakes. That's why they put the little erasers on pencils. Have a nice day."